Hi, my name is John.
And my name is Lloyd.
And we're the hosts of The Pint,
a pop culture podcast.
Lloyd, if you had to tell any of the people out there that might be listening to The Pint for the first time about anything unsavory or disconcerting we might do on the show, what would you warn them about?
Well, sometimes we drop spoilers, and sometimes we swear like motherfucking sailors.
Fuck yeah, we do. You heard it from him. You've been warned.
Listen in.
What are you? Are you me?
I'm bad, Ash. And you're good, Ash.
Welcome to a brand new episode of The Pint, a pop culture podcast. My name is John.
My name is Lloyd.
Oh, hi, I'm Mike.
I'm also Mike.
All right, two Mikes and John and Lloyd. We're here at the tail end of December, and as we've talked about before, December has been Pint Insider Month. That's right, $2.50 a month. Go to Patreon/The Pint, and you can become one of the insiders that gets to tell us episodes to do and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can boss us around. You're literally our boss.
Call me a good girl. I get off on that shit.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, yeah. We can talk all about that later. But anyways.
Do you want us to go?
Yeah, you guys can stay. We have something more planned for you guys.
Lovely.
We got the Mikes from Forgotten Cinema here with us, and we're going to have a good old time talking about a movie that was requested by our very good friend, Stu, from the Stu World Order podcast. Stu is a big fan of the 1992, possibly 1993 film, Army of Darkness. And we wanted the Forgotten guys to come back on. And Butler, in particular, is a very big Evil Dead fan. As a matter of fact, recently, was it this year or was it last year, you dressed up like Ash for a Halloween thing, correct?
A few years ago, and then I put it back on for a commercial we did when we covered the remake of Evil Dead. Yeah, I built the chainsaw from scratch, got it at the Halloween store, the electric-powered one at the battery, and I repainted it, remade it. Big old dork, yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, but your commercials are great.
Yeah, we stopped doing them.
Yeah.
They were great.
These guys quit fucking everything over and over again.
We're bringing them back, but they're going to come back longer form. So we're going to, instead of doing one for every episode, it's going to be one for every season.
Well, maybe if one of us didn't get a job and always just doing stuff.
Whoa!
They quit the show, the commercials go away, the commercials come back, the show's going to go away. I don't know what's going to happen.
Keeping you guessing.
2025, though, and this is absolutely going to happen. We are going to finish off. A lot of stuff happened last year that kind of threw things into flux. If you remember, we did Predators. That was the first episode of Forgotten Sequels.
Yes.
One of our little mini-series we did with these guys. And then, a bunch of stuff went on.
We still got French Connection 2.
French Connection 2, Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows, and Tron Legacy. And Tron Legacy actually is going to kind of line up very perfectly because I think Tron Ares comes out this year, right? Isn't there another Tron movie?
I think later this year, yeah.
Right.
25. Later 25.
Yeah. Right? Okay, so perfect. All right, so we said it. We're doing this one for Stu, Army of Darkness. Let's get into it.
Start the diesel. All head forward.
All right, so Army of Darkness came out in America on February 19th of 1993.
That's correct.
But there is I guess, a film festival called Sitges, Sitges. It was released on October 9th of 1992. So if you look up Army of Darkness, a lot of times it will say 92 as the year. Working title. Many different working titles, and there's a lot of legality surrounding the Evil Dead and Army of Darkness, right? Medieval Dead at one point. Okay? That's what they wanted to call it. At another point, I watched the movie the other night on my Blu-ray, and I watched a feature on the special effects that were done by K&B, Howard Berger and what's his name? The guy who does The Walking Dead and
Nicotero,
okay? And Howard Berger said when they were first approached to do this movie in 1990, the original script title was Bruce Campbell versus the Army of Darkness, which is actually what pops up on the screen.
Basically what it is.
Yeah. I never realized that was considered. I mean, that's crazy to think you're going to make a movie with Bruce Campbell's name in the title, who at the time, yes, he's much more popular now, but written and directed by Sam Raimi. We could talk all day long about stuff he's directed, but here's some acting roles that Sam Raimi has had over the years. He was apparently in Spies Like Us. I wouldn't know. I haven't seen that since I saw it in the theaters when I was a kid.
Same.
Miller's Crossing, which I think you guys did, right, at one point?
We did. He is in Miller's Crossing. He's in the bar shootout scene.
Is he's the one with the cigarette?
He's the one with the cigarette, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yep.
He's really good friends with the Coen brothers.
They lived together for a number of years, when they were coming up in the world.
Yeah.
Did they live in sin?
Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
And he was also in the Flintstones, apparently. I don't know who he was, but I would assume his last name was Slate.
Yeah,
or
Slate.
Stonehead.
He probably worked in the quarry.
Yeah, he worked in a quarry.
Yeah.
He wore a toga with a tie, as Fred Flintstone did. Written by Sam, as well as his brother Ivan Raimi. So, The Evil Dead 2, the co-writer was a guy named Scott Spiegel. Scott Spiegel could not come back to write Army of Darkness because he had been hired by Clint Eastwood to write the 1990 Clint Eastwood Charlie Sheen film.
Oh.
Cop movie. Come on, Field.
Clint Eastwood and I don't remember.
The Rookie.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Rookie.
Yeah.
So he was busy doing that. So Ivan Raimi, who had written some stuff with Sam prior, came on. He had written Darkman with him. He later on co-wrote Drag Me to Hell, which I think is a great movie that I think is kind of forgotten about. You guys ever do that one?
I don't like Drag Me to Hell, but my Elise loves it.
Is your podcast
Shots fired.
about movies you like, or is it about things that your patrons, aka me, ask you to do? So for forgotten,
Yes, sir, boss, sir.
Yes.
Guys, season 21, Drag Me to Hell.
There you go.
It's coming soon.
I'm gonna
I do
remember.
think it's on our list, just
Okay.
because I think Elise was like, put it on your list.
Forgotten Horror. Well, me and Elise are of one mind on this. If you want to get on Ivan Raimi even more than Drag Me to Hell, he also helped co-write Spider-Man 3.
Whoa, we don't like Spider-Man 3?
Spider-Man 3 is.
I thought people have softened to Spider-Man 3
No, it's
now.
garbage.
I remember I saw Spider-Man 3 on like a Saturday, and everyone clapped at the end of the movie, and I was like, what are you clapping for? And I walked out. I was like, why are you clapping at the credits? Such a bad movie.
Crap movie.
It's not good.
Ivan Raimi is the reason he doesn't do more film-wise is he is an emergency medical physician in Chicago. He's a fucking ER doctor.
Selfish.
Yeah,
Wow.
lazy guy can't just write more movies. Come on.
Saving lives and writing Venom in the
Is he
Sandman.
so EMT? So he's in the ambulance?
No, he's an emergency
He's
medical physician. Like he's
physician.
like an
Oh.
ER doctor. I don't
Like
think he's a
real
surgeon.
deal.
Yeah. So just to get through some of the, I guess, things that happened with this movie and how it came about. This is a co-production with Universal Studios. It was a part of the deal that came along with Darkman. So Darkman came out in 1990. He was given a multi-film deal, and he was able to use that on Army of Darkness. Evil Dead 2 was originally going to be what Army of Darkness was, but they didn't have the budget, apparently, so they decided to just end the movie where Ash goes back to 1300 and then make Army of Darkness the next film. What are you shaking your head at?
Because Drag Me to Hell's not on our list.
Oh,
He's
okay.
lying to you.
It's on there now. It's there.
Look, all you got to do is a Patreon episode for me, and I'm happy. Okay, we know how to keep our patrons happy, right, Stu? As we do Army of Darkness, so these guys should be that good as well. And then the other thing I thought was really interesting about this, and was that this movie was having issues getting released because Universal was having kind of a war with Dino De Laurentiis, who owns Evil Dead 2. So Universal co-produces it with Dino De Laurentiis, but they wanted him to give them the right to make a sequel to Silence of the Lambs because he owns the character of Hannibal Lecter. So apparently this movie kind of bounced around with release dates because Universal was getting pissed off that he wasn't playing ball with them and letting them make a movie, which I guess eventually became Hannibal or Red Dragon, whatever.
When I watched the documentary for it, they Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi tell it a different way.
Okay, what is
where they
it?
were working with Dino to make Army of Darkness. Universal out of the fight because they had already done Silence of the Lambs, like filmed it, and Dino was like, "No, I own Maneater or Manhunter or whatever. So you can't make this. Why are you make this?" So there was a lawsuit, and Cuffs and Army of Darkness were two movies that kind of got stuck in limbo and got sucked up and absorbed by Universal as part of the deal.
Okay.
And some kind of backroom deal that Bruce Campbell still says, like, I don't know what they did. I don't know what the deal was, but we got shit canned basically for like 2 years because we don't know what happened because they went and made a movie they weren't supposed to make, basically.
Okay. All
Christian
right.
Slater's cuffs?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Those two movies were both in limbo because Dino De Laurentiis used them as like gambling chips.
And there's also, I mean, even to today, if you want to go ahead as far as like 5 years ago with Ash versus Evil Dead, if you watch that show, there's no references to Army of Darkness in it for the most part.
They reference it once offhand, but
Right.
they don't reference the movie. Just goes, I went back in time once. What? Yeah, I can't talk about it.
Right, you can't talk about it. Right, there's this whole thing. So, this movie was filmed between May and August of 1991, a 100-day shoot. A lot of physical danger for Bruce Campbell. He got beat up a lot. They said he had to really learn a lot because all of the fight scenes relied on him fighting against these almost like not CG, but like things that really weren't there. You know, the stop motion stuff, the skeletons.
Interovision, they called it.
Yes,
Yep.
yeah.
My Blu-ray or my DVD has a big deal. Like, they filmed on Interovision, where things are projected on the screen.
Instead of a rear projection, it's a front
It's a front
projection.
projection, yeah.
And of course, you know, there's a lot of influences, Harryhausen and Three Stooges in this thing. It was filmed entirely in California, Acton, Agua Dulce, Sweetwater, Lloyd, Sweetwater. And Hollywood. The studio stuff was done in Hollywood. So
It's all
that is,
done in Hollywood.
yeah, yeah. That's life in Hollywood, baby.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
All right, Master, let's get into it. Let's talk about the cast of this thing.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
We have Bruce Campbell returning as Ash Williams. I like Ash just better, just Ash. I don't need Williams.
No
for
last
this.
name?
No. Basically, yeah, he's in the medieval past. He also plays the villainous Evil Ash.
Yes, he does.
Many versions of the villainous Evil Ash. It's pretty funny. You will see him in Maniac Cop, Bubba Hotep. We saw that
There's
at
a bump on a
Larry's.
dick.
Huh?
You ever see Bubba Hotep?
Yeah, we saw it at Larry's.
There's a bump on my dick.
Forgot about that. The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr., Burn Notice. Done
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. Bruce Campbell. Handsome man. Very
He
handsome.
is a good looking guy.
Yeah, he's a good looking
He's
guy.
very good looking in this movie, like especially in the beginning when he's got the Superman curl, when he's at
Oh,
smart.
yeah. Yep. And then we have Embeth Davids as Sheila, the woman he encounters and pretty much falls for. She was in Schindler's List.
Yes.
Bridget Jones's Diary. Girl with a Dragon Tattoo.
Never saw that.
No, I saw that. Both versions. Very good.
Never seen that?
No.
You should.
Yeah, it's a good
Definitely
movie.
Fincher's one.
Especially if you like rape scenes.
Jesus Christ.
Was that uncalled for?
Jesus Christ.
Yikes.
Okay. All right.
Well, yeah, there's one in there. Marcus Gilbert as Lord Arthur, the noble knight who originally clashes with Ash. I found something interesting about him. He made a Lee Jeans commercial called Mean Jeans. Do you ever hear this?
No.
I looked it up. It's pretty sexy.
Is
It's
it
like
good?
from the 80s. It's
Does
like,
anybody get raped in it?
almost.
Okay.
I think that was like the very next scene after they hit.
Yeah.
After they said cut. It won the Best Cinema Commercial Award in 1986.
Okay.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
He was also in Rambo 3 and a bunch of other unknown movies.
Well, are you saying Rambo 3 is an unknown movie?
No,
or?
besides
Okay.
Rambo 3, a bunch of unknown
Rambo
movies.
3 is the one where he fucking
Yeah.
cauterizes his wound
Yeah.
with the gunpowder and it shoots out the other side and then he shits blood everywhere. It's awesome.
Then we have Ian Abercrombie from Abercrombie and Fitch.
No, Ian Abercrombie is Mr. Pitt from Seinfeld. That's who that is.
As the wise man. Yeah, he is Mr. Pitt, Elaine's boss in Seinfeld. Also played Palpatine and Darth Sidious in Attack of the Clones.
Did he really?
Yeah. It's what the internet told me.
I don't think that's right at all.
I think it's right.
That's Ian McDiarmid, dude.
Yeah, I know.
I think you're crossing streams, bro.
I figured I'd throw it in there. I try to get it by. I try to sneak it by. Oh, well.
It's Ian Ziering. Anybody
Yeah,
named
it's Ian
Ian?
Ziering.
Yeah, Ian.
And a lot of TV stuff. A lot of TV. You see him everywhere. Richard Grove as Duke Henry the Red.
Great mustache on this guy.
Good mustache. Yeah. He was in Point Break.
Was he?
Money Train. Yeah, I don't know who he played, but somebody in Point
Butler's
Break.
never seen Money Train.
I think Money Train.
Nothing stops
doing
the
Money
Money
Train?
Train.
I saw it once. It's-
Really? Did
No.
you ever see Death Ship?
No.
No, that's a good one.
Are we just picking like vehicle with adjective?
Yeah, adjective.
Okay.
Vehicle.
Okay. You ever see Runaway Train?
You ever see Love Boat?
Yeah.
Let's Runaway Train.
Eric Roberts and John Voight
I feel like
Rebecca De Mornay, the Russian prison.
What year was that?
1985.
I think I've seen it.
It's a good movie, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I might have seen that on TV once.
Go ahead. Lloyd.
We have Bridget Fonda as in a cameo appearance as Linda, who was a different actress in former movies.
In the previous, well, that's something. Butler, speak to the speak to Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness, all kind of like superimposing each other in a way.
So obviously the rights are so messed up with our Evil Dead that the first one, they couldn't use really footage from the first one in the second one. So people think the second one is a sequel or a reboot to the first one. But the first one happens in the second one, and Bruce Campbell says it. But they have to recast everybody and kind of refilm it. So they just don't have the budget to recast Scott and his sister. So it's just Linda in the second one when they reboot it. So you have a different actress playing Linda in the first one, a different one in the second one, and then you have to have a different one in the third one for reasons unknown, because they actually do use some footage from Evil Dead 2 in Army of Darkness in the flashbacks.
They do, yeah.
But I guess Bridget Fonda wanted to be Linda so bad because she was such a fan of the Evil Dead that she like kind of asked, hey, if you ever do something, can I be in it? Like another Evil Dead thing. So that's why she's in it, even though she has like nothing. But I guess she does have a longer part that's cut out of the main movie. I guess deleted scenes that I still haven't seen showcase her actually having dialogue and not just smiling at the camera.
Yeah, not just a pretty face.
I never realized it until this viewing, but the girl at the end in S-Mart that he that kind of falls for him is the girl from The Wedding Singer that fucks over Adam Sandler.
She said in the documentary I watched, she gets more texts and messages about being in Army of Darkness than she ever did in Wedding Singer.
Okay, all right.
She's like,
She
nobody
probably does a lot of
recognizes me
cons.
from Wedding
That's
Singer.
hilarious because I just think of her from Wedding Singer, but
All right, then we have Ted Raimi as
like 6 different
multiple roles.
characters.
He plays a cowardly warrior, second supportive villager.
I will give you my steel.
He's an S-Mart clerk, and he plays some skeleton voices. Ted Raimi's been in Candyman, Spider-Man trilogy, Drag Me to Hell. Right?
Who did he play in Drag Me to Hell? He's the Clint. He's the Clint Howard to Sam Raimi.
Yeah, a couple more here. Bill Moseley, our friend Bill Moseley from Connecticut, graduated Yale, played Chop Top. He plays a Deadite captain.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just his voice or if he's in that.
He's in there.
He is?
Because he had the eye patch. He complained he had to go down a hill and he could only see out of like the eye patch was
Okay.
like slightly moved to the left because he couldn't see out of his milky eye. And he had he begged to be on the movie, and then he ended up yelling at Sam Raimi because he wasn't giving him any real direction.
Interesting.
Nice.
He's like, I'm an actor too.
And then one more, I'll give you Patricia Tallman as the possessed witch from a lot of Star Trek, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager. Also Creepshow 2, Night of the Living Dead remake.
She's Barbara in the Night of the Living Dead remake.
Barbara.
And
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
And Bill Moseley is her brother in that.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, look at that. Putting shit together.
Yep.
Professional podcasters here, Field, you see?
Good job.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. Thank you.
The podcast was just talking about race before?
Whoa. Avert your gaze to that fucking weirdo. That wasn't me.
Hey, whatever. It happened.
Rape happens.
That's your new merch shirt.
Let's get into the movie. So we start off with our buddy Ash, and he's in stockades. He's in a stockade, and he's narrating, "My name is Ash. I'm from the future. As far as I could tell, I'm in 1300." I always wondered, with his hand being gone, couldn't he just pull his hand out of that? Couldn't he pull his wrist right out of there?
I thought the same thing.
So interesting fact in this is that we go back to Evil Dead 2, and we see the ending of Evil Dead 2. And we see the scene in the cabin where it rips the vortex into the sky. He explains that, it got into my hand, it went bad, so I lopped it off of the wrist, all that stuff. And then we get the scene where, he's flying into the vortex, he holds onto the board. How do you stop it? And he gets sucked in. And then we see the footage from Evil Dead 2 of the car flying out of the sky and him flying out of the sky. And instead of the ending of Evil Dead 2 where, they kind of surround him and, they hail him, as a hero.
Because he kills the flying bat thing.
He kills the flying bat thing. They cut there, and then we get him talking in the stockades. They refilmed, because they thought it was a rights issue, they refilmed them dropping the car and him jumping off a ladder. And apparently the car got caught on the crane and the car fell into a gravel pit. And then they just used the fucking footage from Evil Dead 2.
No, they still refilmed it.
Oh, did they refilm it
They
again?
still refilmed it, and the editor was just like, I think it looks better in 2. And Sam Raimi was like, yeah.
So they just kept it.
And it was a big deal because they spent the extra money, but they got an insurance claim on the crane,
Yeah. So, Field, what's his predicament? He's being taken somewhere.
To that castle.
By who?
The other guy. What's that guy's name? Not the red guy.
Duke
Arthur. Yeah, Arthur.
Arthur.
Yeah, Lord Arthur.
Yeah, he's been captured.
He's been captured along with the men and Henry the Red.
Yeah.
And they're being brought back, and as he's being explained, or not him being explained, but Arthur kind of says it, is that a great evil has kind of taken over this land. And they kind of get to the center of this little, this castle and, I guess, this little town, and there's a pit in the ground. What's going on in the pit, Butler?
The pit bitch is in the pit.
The pit bitch.
Well, also, another Deadite is also in the pit, and then the pit bitch is second. But yeah, basically, great evil.
Great evil. So
a lot of blood.
Wait, the pit bitch is the one that comes from the wall?
The pit bitch is the one that comes from the wall.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what they ended up calling
the
thing.
So they basically tell Henry the Red and Ash that they're going to walk the plank, and they're going to throw them into this pit, this giant well with water and spiked walls that are going to roll in on them. And essentially, that's their punishment. You're going to die here, because Arthur's convinced that Ash is working with Henry. Arthur's, what do you want to call him? Wise man, his wizard or whatever, feels that he is the prophetic one.
Ian McDermott.
Palpatine feels like this is the guy from the Necronomicon, which is, as we'll get into, the evil book that ties all these movies together, has been foretold to come back and save them from this deadite plague. And they drop Ash in first, and they take his chainsaw off, right?
Yep.
If you've never seen Evil Dead 2, explain the chainsaw, Mike. What does he got? How did this all happen? He lost his hand and what?
So he lops his hand off at the wrist, and he has to basically he's going to go get the book pages in the basement in the second one, but he needs to suit up. He needs to get ready. So he saws off his shotgun, which is a regular long barrel shotgun, makes it a sawed off, his Remington steel double barrel, which we'll get into. And then he has a stump hand, so he takes his chainsaw, goes into the garage, makes it a manual, basically a sword that he has on his hand, and he can start it up with a little lever on his chest and just get it going. So it becomes basically a sword hand, but a chainsaw sword hand, because it's even better.
So they take it off of him, they drop him in the pit. Now, Field, I got to ask you a question.
Okay.
Because I know that he's a super fan. I don't know where you stand with this.
I like it. I don't know if I'm not a super fan.
But my question for you wasn't necessarily that.
All right.
Explain yourself.
Evil Dead 1 and 2 are straight up horror movies.
Yeah.
This is an adventure comedy kind of thing.
Yeah.
What do you prefer? Do you feel like, would you, if you had your druthers, would you have preferred Evil Dead 3 to be more of a horror-ish film, or are you fine with what they went with here?
I think I prefer what they did with the show, what they did with Ash vs. Evil Dead on Stars. I think that's the good mix right there. Okay. So comedy, but also there is a little bit more horror. There's not as much horror in this one. I think primarily because there's not a lot of special effects, so it's kind of tough to be scared when, it's basically skeletons from science class walking around, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's not really scary. So I think what they did in the Stars show is probably a good mix for me.
Seen this movie a million times, and I feel like this viewing, maybe because we're doing it for the podcast, I noticed things that I never really noticed before. And one of them was how low the horror content is in this movie. Lloyd's got it playing right now. There's only one or two Evil Dead kind of flying through the woods.
The Great Evil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get that a lot in the first two, right? That's kind of a motif that kind of happens a lot.
What's funny is they still made it, the ratings board still did it NC-17.
Really?
When they went, because Evil Dead 1 and 2, well, 1 because it was basically self-funded. Sam Raimi went to dentists and lawyers in his hometown, or around, they're from Grand Rapids, so they probably went around the suburbs, got money enough to do Evil Dead 1 from those dentists and stuff. So they weren't an official product. They were able to skirt around the studio system. They didn't have to go to the ratings board. Evil Dead 2 played a lot of games to get around the ratings board, but still never got rated. And then, so when Army of Darkness came, when it was picked up by Universal, it was going to have to get rated. And the ratings board hit him with an NC-17, basically to get back at them for the first two movies, even though they purposely filmed this film to be PG-13.
Oh, okay.
And so they had to tone it down to get an R rating. But according to the editor and Ted Raimi, they don't think that they actually edited any of it. They think they maybe cut like a couple seconds, resubmitted it, and it was just fine. Like they were just fucking with them just because they got through the first two.
I saw a video recently on YouTube. You ever watch Rick Beato? You know that guy?
Yeah.
The music guy.
The music dude.
He's interviewing the guy from Collective Soul, and he's talking about like one of their hits, like Shine or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, we
You mean
recorded
their hit?
Well, no, Collective Soul. I'm not a fan, but like they have a couple.
Right.
They have a couple. No, there's like three. There's like three. Like, give them fucking credit. Anyways, he's talking about one of their songs, and he says that the gel. Sure. That finished the fucking story, or do you want to talk about rape for another half hour?
So, you're really possessive of Collective Soul.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to tell the fucking story. Who cares what the song is? You know what? The podcast listeners lose. I'm not telling you that fucking story. I'm going to act I'm going to act
punishing them.
I'm going to. I'm going to take a page out of like my mom's book when I was a kid.
You're shaming me now.
I'm shaming you. You don't get the story because Lloyd's an asshole. I'll tell it offline. I'll just tell it to these guys just so I can get it out of my system. Before they toss Ash into the pit, though, I did want to mention that they do throw a villager in the pit, and Johnny Depp, Nightmare on Elm Street, blood streams. Like there's 400 gallons of blood comes out, so we know something's bad down there. Ash gets tossed in, no weapons, nothing. He lands. Manster, what does he encounter down there?
He encounters a Deadite, and they have their fun little encounter down there, and what does he do to that one? He beats that one.
She beats the shit out of him.
Yeah.
She actually at one point, and this is like heavily influenced by like, Three Stooges and stuff. Like she's punching him, and then she does one of those things with her hand where she circles the fist and hits him again. Yeah, she Popeyes him.
Popeye.
Yeah.
Was it Henry the Red?
Yes.
Throws down.
No, the Wiseman throws down.
Oh, the Wiseman.
Palpatine tosses him his chainsaw.
Yeah, Palpatine. And then what do you call it? The pit bitch.
Pit bitch.
Yeah, comes out the wall and.
He does that sweet jump though, like that jump where he puts up his little cuff into the air. That's pretty amazing, and it just clicks right on perfectly. You certainly from this scene forward understand where we're at with the tone of this movie,
100%,
right?
Yeah.
100%. This is what solidifies what we're going to be watching for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
First, 10 minutes, you're
so
like...
this is where if you want to walk out and get your refund, this is where you...
Yes.
So in Evil Dead 2, though, he's got that metal thing that he puts the ripcord, the cord to start
He's got the strap with the
so
prong.
that he just has to jerk his hand like that. But in this one, he doesn't have it anymore.
It's like worn off, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like magic, essentially.
Yeah.
So it clicks onto his hand, he turns it on, and he beats the Deadite. But then the pit bitch comes out.
Right.
And as they're fighting, he manages to get out as this is one of those things.
The spikes are closing.
The spikes are closing, but like it does stuff like that in movies bother you where the spikes are closing, but they never seem to really actually be getting closer together.
They used to. But as you keep seeing it, you know why it's like that.
Yeah.
It's just to kind of add to the tension.
So he ends up getting out. She gets demolished. He comes out and he has a whole brand new attitude with all of these people. Field, what is his attitude with all of these people?
Oh, he just gets cocky now, and he starts, firing off his shotgun, which suddenly he had, right?
He doesn't have it until suddenly he has it.
He gets out of the pit because it's not in his,
He picks it up, right?
They don't pick it up.
He could because...
you can assume the wizard gave it to him, but they don't show it.
Because Arthur pulls his sword on him, right? He's going to cut him, and then he shoots the sword off his hand, and then he just gets cocky and he's just talking shit to everybody.
Calling them, primates and...
You primitive screwheads or something?
Screwheads, yeah. This is my boomstick. So he kind of comes out, and everybody's attitude towards him change. Like maybe he is the chosen one. He lets Henry and Henry's men go. Arthur lets him stay. He ingratiates himself into everyday life with these people, being fed grapes by women, and
he eats the stems, John.
He eats everything.
He eats the stems. This is the first time I noticed. Oh my God, that's like 8 grapes with the stem.
Yeah, he just bites it right off of the fucking thing.
And Sheila, who was like, tearing at him because her husband had died, right? Or her brother.
Her brother was died. Yeah,
and then all of a sudden she's like nice to him.
Well, she's got that great line. First you want to kill me, then you want to kiss me.
Blow.
She's the one that knocked him into the pit. She's the one that actually hit him in the head with a rock and knocked him into a pit. As we're having like this scene where he's kind of like just with these people, another Deadite witch shows up. She bitch, let's go. We get another great moment where, he starts to kind of fire off with the shotgun and all that stuff. But this leads to them deciding that they have to go find the Necronomicon. So, Lloyd, where is the Necronomicon based on what the wise man, aka Palpatine, is saying?
It's just out there in the wilderness.
It's in the cemetery.
Cemetery, yeah.
Right. And do you know the words? Yeah. Can you repeat the words that he has to say to be able to take it off of its perch without reading it?
Well, he no, he tells him you've got to say these 3 words. He's all right. Well, what are the words? So it's Klaatu, Barada, Nikto.
He asks him again. Say it again.
Say it again. Klaatu, Barada, Nikto.
He asks him again.
I know your damn words.
Yes, he gets very irritated. But we are going to learn very soon that he probably should have written it down, or
which, as fans of the Pint would know if they saw our episode with
Tim Jones.
Tim Jones, The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Yep.
That's where those words come from. Yeah. No, fuck that Keanu Reeves.
Whoa.
Never saw that one. I saw the original.
Oh, you never saw it?
No.
You got to see it, John. It's horrible.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
It's
brilliant.
Horrendous.
It goes where the original couldn't.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. No thanks. So he's geared up. He decides he's going to go out and gear up Butler. What are some of the upgrades he gives himself?
Well, he gives himself a handy new hand
that makes motorized noises, by the way.
So strong enough to crush a cup. The best prosthesis that anyone has ever created, done by a S-Mart employee. Don't underestimate retail employees.
That's right. That's right. Or a medieval blacksmith, I guess.
That's true. But he does have that college chemistry book, so that's probably what helped him.
I like when the woman gives him the thing and he goes, "Thanks, I guess I needed a horse blanket or something."
You're raised in a barn? Probably were raised
in a barn.
Yeah. He's just so mean to these guys. It's awesome.
So this movie kind of works in 3 acts, and Act 1 is him, arriving and establishing his way there. Now he's going to go off to the graveyard. He's heading out to the graveyard. Now, does he get the book first and then get attacked? No, he goes to get the book, and that's when he fucks everything up.
Well, I guess the windmill happens.
The windmill happens first. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Field, the windmill. Tell us what happens there.
How does he get to the windmill?
He gets chased.
He's chased by the evil.
Yeah,
he's on the horse, right?
Which to your point isn't scary. It's funny because he's like goofing around, like not goofing around, but he's just like whoa. Gets to the windmill, sees himself in the mirror, or punches the mirror. I can't remember why he punches. He gets scared or something like that, and then it shatters into pieces, and then little versions of him pop out, and they start tormenting him and terrorizing him. And then they, for some reason, get one of them inside of him. He through his mouth, which is like really weird, with the way they do the special effect. Yeah, when they push his nose, it's like you're clearly not there, but that's fine. He swallows him, and that ends up growing another Ash, an evil Ash, when they just start fighting, and then he kills. How far do you want me to go with this? He just kills him.
I want you to go back because I want to discuss if this would work. If you had an evil tiny version of yourself in your stomach, would your initial thought be to swallow fucking extremely hot boiling water?
Not at all.
I don't think anyone could purposely do that.
Yeah,
I think you would stop yourself.
I'd like to think that 3 little dudes aren't going to be able to incapacitate me enough where they can get another one into me.
I would hope so. I hope not.
Oh, it's more than 3. It's like 6 or 7.
There are, he kills one of them with the fork.
He does. That's awesome.
With the medieval fork.
That's an amazing fork throw.
Yes, by the way, it's an amazing fork. I want to eat with a fork like that. Yeah. 3 giant fucking bladed tines. Yeah. He spends some time there.
Shred the inside of your mouth.
He gets the fucking eyeball on his shoulder. Head grows out, and then eventually
that comes from the Manster.
The movie The Manster, right? The guy that ends up growing another person. So this is a Manster moment with less rape. But they split apart. They do this thing where they're crawling on their hands and butts, and finally they split apart, and then they just kind of have this fight. And he ends up killing, right? I'm the guy with the gun.
Yeah, he shoots him right in the face.
Shoots him in the face, and then he buries him,
cuts him up,
gives him a Christian burial, and then takes off to go to the graveyard. When he gets to the graveyard, what is the confusion all of a sudden now? Because he went there for a book.
There's a bunch of books.
There's 3 books.
Is this where the skeletons are in the ground and
they will be.
They do after.
It's after he fucks the words up. Yeah.
All right. My bad.
So 3 books. Explain all 3 books, like the first 2 books, what they do to him, because there's 2 different things.
The first book sucks him up.
Yes.
And he has to climb out of it, which is why they had to remake the book, because the book in the first one was too small. So Sam Raimi was like, shit, we got to make a new book, but make it look kind of like the first book. which doesn't look like the first book at all.
Yeah.
I prefer the Evil Dead 2 book, personally. There's a book on there?
Are we on that scene?
We're at the scene right now.
Shit, look at that.
So he gets sucked up. We think he's gone. It gets quiet for a little bit, and all of a sudden you see him pull back out of the book, out of this evil portal. And the second book he opens up, and it sucks his face. And the second book suck his face?
No, it bites sand.
Or the second book. So the first book sucks his face, and he's got to do this thing. He does this like comical
Three Stooges
prosthetics,
thing,
Three Stooges thing, and then the second book bites his hand, and he has to shake it off, which is something that happens a bunch in Ash vs. the Evil Dead as well, I believe.
Yeah, the book essentially becomes like a bat too, where it's like
it flies around. Yeah, he's gonna go around, and then the third book is the True Book.
True Book, but what part of the words does he not really seem to know very well? Yeah,
necktie.
Yeah. Well, he gets the first two words, right?
Yeah.
What is it?
Klaatu,
Verada, necktie. And then he decides
he tries to just
definitely an
cough
N-word.
it off.
It's an N-word. It's definitely an N-word. It's funny too because like I think in culture like the phrase N-word now means something totally else. So when he says that, I'm like, okay, all right, no, I know what he means. means.
Yeah.
But 30 years ago, I guess N-word wasn't really the vernacular for what we use it for.
Right.
No,
you're making fun of me. Okay.
No.
Okay.
What I'm saying is even if you didn't say that word 30 years ago, I feel like people didn't say, oh, Jesus.
Damn, John.
Wow.
There are people out there that use that word. I am not saying I'm not a person that's ever used that word. But I'm saying I feel like people saying the N-word as a substitute. Forget it. Let's talk about rape.
By that you mean Nikto.
Yeah. Let's get back to rape.
So, do you want to pretend you cut all that out?
Yeah, that's great.
I'm not cutting nothing out. All right. So, if we did still title episodes the way we used to, this one would be called The N-Word and Rape. And it would not end up on Apple.
No.
It would never end up on Apple.
Never.
So, yeah, he screws up the last word and he does the cough thing and then he just takes the book anyway.
He takes the book.
As soon as he takes the book, all of a sudden we are in a Ray Harryhausen nightmare of skeletons. The scene where the skeletons kind of draw him to the ground and start doing all the Stooges stuff to him is fucking awesome.
That's a funny scene.
Like when he feels like he beats them by putting the bridge up and they just two different hands hit him.
Yeah.
But the part I love the most in this scene is when you get a shot of him from the front and he's just looking, he's going, oh, and you don't know what it is. And then it's like 6 hands punch him at the same time. It's fucking great.
I love the fist in the throat.
Yes.
Because the amount of it's definitely in his throat because the amount of phlegm that comes out of him.
It's so gross.
When he pulls it out.
Because
Sam Raimi loves torturing Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
He actually put that fist in there.
It's right there.
Right now.
Right now.
It's happening right now. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He just gets up and runs away. And
he runs away.
He's free.
He gets back to town, but he knows what he did. He knows that he fucked everything up. And when he gets back, he is very adamant about just fulfill your side of the bargain.
Yep.
Send me back. Well, what about the book? Here's the book. Did you say the words correctly? I said them close enough.
I said the words, yeah.
And they're like, listen, the book is no good to us, if you just fucking buried us. So they kind of guilt him enough that he decides eventually he is going to stay.
Well, it takes something to happen first before he decides to stay.
What happens? She gets kidnapped.
She gets kidnapped by Bat Lady.
That's right. Bat Lady takes...
but she stands there. She never moves.
She's the only one that doesn't run.
The only one doesn't run.
Yeah. And then we also get the rebirth of Evil Ash as this open-jawed, blown-away face general of the Deadites. And he starts to assemble an army of skeletons, right? So now we're getting into the final portion of the movie where they're going to defend the castle against this evil army that's coming to get the Necronomicon. He starts to train them. We get kind of a training montage. They take the car. Do you think that this Ash character would ever have a chemistry book in his trunk? Or... No,
I mean,
yeah.
Supposedly he was a college student.
I think so.
I know he was supposed to be a college student, but especially when you get to the TV show, they make him out to be kind of so.
But that's why it's in the trunk because he never pulls it out. In class. He just gets stoned with Ted Raimi.
Yeah,
or has what do they? Oh, purple fuck. That's what they call it. The drink they make up that's got all the drugs and alcohol in it.
Well, this was what they really did.
Well, no, in the show. That's what Ash and Ted Raimi's character on the show made a drink.
I saw the whole show, and I only watched it once. I want to watch it again. I can't. I forgot all about that. But there's also Fangoria, in the trunk, which Sam Raimi said was a tribute to Fangoria for championing the movie originally. So we basically get a big battle scene at the end. Field, how do you feel about this? Are you a fan of kind of like the stop motion Jason and the Argonauts type stuff, or are you?
Yeah, I mean, back then I liked it a lot. I mean, watching it now, it's obviously dated, but you kind of appreciate it for what they're doing. I mean, some of it works, some of it it's doesn't, you know. But on the whole, I mean, you know what type of movie you're watching when you're into it, so it's not if you expect something else,
right?
You're in the wrong movie.
What are some of your favorite moments at the end, Lloyd? Some of the like good battle moments.
I like when all the archers have the bows and they're ready to shoot them, and he keeps waiting. He keeps going back and forth to Arthur and the Hibs. Like, oh, when's this going to happen? And then they release them all. That's fun.
Yeah.
Do you ever see the one where they all release the bows, but there's that one dude who doesn't fire it well, and he's like, and it like just goes,
just clinks down.
yeah.
I like the bit where he's having the sword fight. I think with the two guys, Evil Ash and. One of the other skeleton warriors, and then there's like that skeleton with no legs crawling, and he's like, "I'm going to cut your gizzard." I just find some of that stuff funny. But yeah, we get a big bombastic battle scene. Eventually, the car makes another appearance. What's going on?
Now the Deathmobile, or whatever they call it. It's got rotors. It's got a huge blade on the front. It's got spikes on the side. This thing is a wagon meant for death.
Yeah.
He's got, I think, 2 archers on the side, which he kills because he jumps out of the car, which no one ever talks about, but he murders those 2 guys when he jumps out. But he's chopping up. It almost seems like the battle's going to be won. And then who do we see in front? Sheila is like, take me, kill me now. And he's like, no! And he lets the car go, even though she's clearly evil. He hasn't learned his lesson from Linda. And he messes up.
Yeah. And what does she say to him? She's like, you loved me at one time. And he's like, honey, you got real ugly.
You found me beautiful once.
Yeah. So how does he end up dispatching of Evil Ash? I'm trying to remember.
He burns his face off.
Oh, he burns him and he falls over the castle. Then he comes back as a skeleton and he stands on the catapult, and which has got the explosive. And so then he cuts the rope and it shoots him in the sky.
That's actually a great shot.
And then he's
flying in the sky and he blows up and get the moon next to him. Yeah. So he dies, and I think at that point all of the foot soldiers all die too, right? Like, doesn't it all end there?
It ends, but I don't think they say they die or not.
They capture him or something, right? Yeah. They run away. They retreat.
Oh, that's right. Run away!
Yeah.
So the good guys win, and for a second there, it looks like Arthur's men, or I'm sorry, what's the other guy? Henry the Red's men came to help out, but then at the end, you think we're going to get another fight, but we get that great, like, bro hug. All right, let's fuck, like that kind of thing. I'm going to call you the N-word while I'm raping you. I can't quit you.
Tripling down.
Speaking of that,
speaking of sexual assault, when Evil Ash and he has Sheila and he's kissing her, are we supposed to assume that that's what's happening? That's
100%.
What makes her? Okay.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
It's like what happens to his sister in the first
with the
one.
tree, yeah.
With the tree, yeah.
The tree, yeah, that's hard. The tree is a hard
Once you go,
scene.
She's got jokes. When she returns in Ash vs. Evil Dead, she's got so many tree rape jokes. One of them is like, once you go like wood, you never go back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to make like a tree and fuck you is what
there's
she says.
There's just a lot of hard, but there's a lot of good horror in that show.
Oh, Ash vs. Evil Dead is awesome.
Ash vs. Evil Dead is...
You were right that is the best combination of everything.
I actually agree with you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I actually agree with you. And I also think, and I guess, I'm fine with spoiling it here for anybody that hasn't seen the show. So if you have not seen Ash vs. Evil Dead and don't want the last episode spoiled for you, pause it for a minute or jump forward for a little bit. But I think the final scene in Ash vs. Evil Dead is one of the best final moments of a TV show ever. Even though it wasn't supposed to end there, when they're in he's in the car,
in the future.
It's in the future.
Yeah.
That girl is in the turret. He gets in and she's like, everything's ready to go, daddy. And he gets in and he just, I can't remember to say groovy, but whatever he says, the motor fires up and he just goes, yeah. And then it goes to fucking Deep Purple. It's fucking awesome. Like that scene, I remember seeing that and being like okay with the fact that this show that I actually liked got kind of canceled.
I got to watch that again.
Because I thought the third season was the weakest too.
Yeah, but it was a great show.
3 seasons total?
Third season's got some good stuff though.
It's got good stuff, but the first 2 seasons were better.
First 2 seasons were better.
What 3 seasons was the final? Third season was the final one?
Yes.
That's when his dad gets run over. It was awesome.
Yes.
I love when
there was good stuff.
Dad getting run
Remember
over
the scene in the morgue?
Yes.
Oh, the morgue is so gross.
He had the thing they did with that show that was so good was, obviously you get Bruce Campbell back, and you've got real life aging and Ash, and he's this older guy. His two fucking Kelly and Pablo. They were awesome.
Kelly really grew on me.
Kelly, I love
Kelly actually had character development. That's why.
Yeah. But they had such good chemistry with him that it wasn't like, a lot of times when like you have a show or something, they throw these characters in, and you're like, I love the main character, but like this, I love Kelly and Pablo. If you've never seen Ash vs. Evil Dead, I don't know where it's streaming anymore.
Stars. It's still streaming on Stars. It was on Netflix as well. But it might not be anymore, but it was Stars and Netflix for a while.
Well, if you're one of the people who's got Stars, check it out. But yeah, last episode, last scene.
$6.99 a month.
Is that it?
I believe so.
That's affordable.
It's one of the cheaper ones. I know this because my wife watches all the White Queen, Serpent Queen, all the
Outlander.
Oh my god, I hear about Outlander all the time.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so that is pretty much the end, but let's talk about the multiple endings that we might have for this movie. We all watched the same version. We all watched the theatrical version. Theatrical version, Ash is back. He is given the potion, and then the theatrical version, all it said is take the potion, say the words.
Say the same 3 words, and 6 drops of some kind of potion.
Not the N-word. Don't say the N-word. And again, Palpatine's like, don't say the N-word. But just take this. But he doesn't say any drops. He just says take the potion.
He doesn't say 6 drops in the original?
Other version is when he says drops, and that's how everything goes awry. So he ends up back at S-Mart, and he's telling the story of what happened to another version of Ted Raimi. And then Wedding Singer Girl is like clearly going to suck his dick. And then all of a sudden, he runs into another fucking she-witch.
Yeah.
And we have this great scene where he takes his shotgun, he rides a cart, blows her away, tells her to shop smart, shop S-Mart, kisses the girl.
Hail to the king, baby.
Hail to the king, baby. Hail to the king. And he kisses her, and the movie ends. Now, Butler, I'll give you the opportunity, because I'm assuming you've seen it before.
Right.
The alternate ending with the drops.
The drops, so the wizard, Ian McDermott, a.k.a. the Emperor, a.k.a. Chief Palpatine, tells him, take 6 drops, say Klaatu Barathanic, and everything will be good. He goes into the cave. We get a little bit of expanded sequence. He brings the car in with him because nothing from the future can stay. He's smart enough. He's an idiot, but yet somehow he's smart enough to say, I can't mess with the future.
Right.
Which, this is the first time you've been banging ladies from the past. But whatever, okay. You can't mess with the future.
You're your own grandfather.
Yeah, exactly. The whole time he's with Sheila, I'm like, you're going to fry yourself into existence. For those who don't know, fry.
Yeah, I got your Futurama reference.
So he blows up this cave with the last of his gunpowder, caves himself in, takes his 6 drops, and once again forgets to say the words right. Or no, overdrops himself.
One drop too many.
One drop too many. Wakes up, he's got a full beard, leaves the cave, and it's London, and it's all in ruin. But it's clearly a future London, all destroyed. And
sky
he says,
cars,
I took too much.
I think there's cars in the sky.
There's cars crash. Nothing's in the sky because everything's dead. It's apocalypse. It's kind of like Planet of the Apes style.
Yeah.
You blew it all up. And he kind of cries. And it was originally supposed to tie into another Evil Dead, which would be he joins an army of robots against an army of Deadites. And it would be like a futuristic type Evil Dead. That was their original plan.
So I've seen
Terminator Evil Dead.
I've seen that version of the movie where it actually ends with that. At one point, I had the DVD of that version. Just knowing that. Now, have you seen that, Field?
I've never seen any of the alternate endings.
Okay, have you seen that alternate ending? Knowing what it is, what he just explained, do you prefer the S-Mart ending?
S-Mart.
S-Mart?
Yeah.
S-Mart, Butler?
I prefer the S-Mart because you can still go to your future thing, but you're trapped telling that story now if you do another one. If the S-Mart one, you can go anywhere. You can do some Bill and Ted type crap and bring into the future.
I do love that alternate ending, but I do think that the S-Mart one makes more sense because we couldn't, especially with the rights issues and wanting to continue this thing. And this is also a series, I think it's through Dynamite or Boom, that there have been fucking hundreds of comic series.
I think it's Boom, yeah.
Hundreds of comic series, Evil Dead, Army of Darkness versus this, Army of Darkness versus that. So it's kind of opened that up a bit. All right, Manster, let's talk about the box office.
So I'm talking about fractions of a penny here. And over time, they add up to a lot.
What's in the box? On a budget of $11 million, it made $21.5 million.
Oh, made money.
So almost doubled. Its opening weekend, it made 4.4. Worldwide, it made a couple 100,000 more.
Yeah.
So still 21.5 million.
Yeah, didn't play too well over in Spain.
No, for that weekend, it came in number 6. I'll give you the top 3. Ready for this? Summersby, number 3.
Is that Richard Gere?
You never heard of that?
Yeah.
I've heard of it. I've never.
Richard Gere comes back from Civil War, and he is Jodie Foster, isn't that?
He's pretending.
He's pretending to be her husband.
Yes.
But her husband, but there's some question about whether he is her husband.
Does she not remember what her husband looked like?
This is back then. This is like
This was back then. So they don't remember.
They don't remember back then.
War changes a brand.
Yeah. Number 2, Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey.
That I saw.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Shadow.
And number 1,
just too old.
A movie that I really like. I'm not sure how you guys feel about it. Groundhog Day.
I love Groundhog Day.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Who doesn't like Groundhog Day? Who doesn't like Give me names.
Everybody likes it.
Did you ever hear the I guess they finally came up with either Ramis said it or someone figured it out that he's stuck in that loop for like 11,000 years.
Thousands of years.
Thousands of years. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, on the year, Army of Darkness came in at 101.
Yeah.
Top 3, Fugitive,
Great movie.
183 million. Mrs. Doubtfire, 219 million. And number 1 that year, if you can remember, 1993.
Jurassic Park.
You got it.
Come on. Yeah.
That's right.
Child's Play. Come on.
Jurassic Park, the film that when we did it on the Pint, was the first time I realized I can't always let Lloyd grade things first.
No.
Because he immediately goes, 5, it's a 5, it's not a 5. Jurassic Park's not a 5 in any way, shape, or form.
I did it with
out of 5?
Why?
I did it with Titanic.
I think I gave it 4.5 or 4.75. It's because Jaws is a 5. It's just not Jaws. It's not.
I don't think it was Jurassic Park that made you realize that. I think it was Titanic.
You gave Titanic a 5?
No.
I did.
No.
Nice.
We did Jurassic Park first, I think.
Yeah, but it was really Titanic that said you're just
Titanic,
full
the
of shit.
story between Jack and Rose is not very good. The rest of it is very good.
I thought it was, yeah.
The Jack and Rose stuff is very.
That's because I went first.
He goes first, and I think he gets all excited, and then he hears
Jurassic Park is a 5, though, John.
Jurassic Park's not a 5. It's
Why
a 4.75.
Why not?
I don't know. There's just
I thought
You're like, it's not Jaws. Nothing's Jaws.
It lags.
It lags.
Where does it lag? The movie goes.
Defend yourself, man.
It's not a 5. It's just not a 5.
I think we need to do another Jurassic Park episode.
I think it's 5.
You can't do a Jurassic Park.
If it's not 5, it's very, very
That's where you
close.
pigeonhole yourselves, guys.
Oh, we got a Patreon now.
See, but for Jaws for you is Jurassic Park for people that are younger than you.
me. Yeah.
I understand that.
That's
He's
the thing.
He's like 4 years, fucking 10
but
years
he understands that. He appreciates that.
older. He immediately regretted it. When me and whoever was it, Eric Shannabrow gave our ratings, you were like, I think I went too high. I went too hard and too fast.
What you guys both gave it a 4 or 5?
Honestly, I gave it a 4.75. I just feel like there's I haven't seen it in a couple years now, but there's something that just doesn't fully hit me with the 5.
All right.
Fully hit me with the 5.
So I'll go first with the ratings.
Butler doesn't agree.
I'm out of here.
Bump it up.
All right.
Your Army of Darkness better redeem yourself.
All right. Well, let's get to it. Let's rate this fucking thing.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes. It was fun.
All right, 0 to 5. 0 being the worst thing ever, 5 being Jurassic Park, I guess. Quarter and half scale are optional. Let's talk about Army of Darkness, and to prove myself, although I think he's going to be paying more attention, let's let the Master go first this time. What do you give 1993's? I'm going 93. Came out in the States in 93. Army of Darkness.
0.0.
All classes incomplete.
No, I'll go a little higher. So, I guess my impression of the Evil Dead series is all the people that I know who are fans, I think this is their favorite.
I feel the same way. The same way. But I feel like that's the popular answer, but I think as I've kind of delved into talking to people, it's not necessarily the truth.
All right, that's just my impression. I've always enjoyed the darker Evil Dead stuff.
Yes.
That's just what I like more. It's still a lot of fun. Raimi had a vision for this. I don't know what changed in his vision. I don't know if it was budget or what, but something changed in his vision, and he stuck to it, and I appreciate that. I like it. Bruce Campbell is undeniably charismatic in this. He's like a superstar. I wouldn't think of him as a star, but in this movie, this genre, this whole trilogy, he's a fucking superstar. Any other actor in this movie, I think they could all be replaced by anybody. Wouldn't matter. He's the one that makes this movie what it is. I like it. It's a lot of campy, cheesy fun. I give it a 3.5.
3.5. All right. Butler just swallowed hard. I don't think he's going to be given a 3.5. Let's go over to Field. What does Field think?
Yeah, I think I agree with Lloyd. I'd say 3.5. I think it's this movie and the Three Stooges stuff. I think is probably evident here, but I think this movie is really highly regarded by men. I think this is like a guy movie. It's goofy. It's stupid. It's got one-liners. I mean, I don't think it's just like a cinephile film. I think it's like anybody who, like any dude, if you sat down who had never seen any of this before, doesn't even need to see Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2. I think they would dig it just because of all the humor and all the wackiness and stupidness. So I think that, but if I'm viewing it like, compared to the other two, compared to what's come after, and compared to other films, I think it's a fun time, but I can't go higher than 3.5. I think 3.5 is a good. I say 3, and I think the 0.5 is for all that other extra stuff. Is for is for Bruce Campbell, is for the wackiness, is for the fact that it's just you're laughing throughout the entire thing. But I think it's definitely a guy-centric film. That's what I think.
What's wrong with men, Field? What's wrong with men?
Nothing. I like men a lot, but
good. We'll talk about that later. All right, I'll go. We'll leave.
I have a type, John. You're not it. I have a type, John. You're not it, right?
Oh, you're not in the Bears?
No, not into big
no, that's not me, man. Sorry.
I could be your otter, though.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah,
you're good.
That kind of hurts.
He more likes the wolf.
Yeah. Can I tell you a funny story?
Yeah.
So early in, like early-ish year time, right? Like, I experimented with the dating site thing for a while.
Yeah.
And
I thought you were going to say experimented with bears and wolves.
No, but I'm like, could have. That's what I'm getting to.
All right.
Nice.
Okay.
So I'm on
Grindr and
I was on Bumble, and I got some hits, and I went out and met some nice women. Whatever. Blah blah blah.
Did you limit to female?
Well, can I finish the fucking story?
No, just fucking tell me now.
All right. So one day I just said, like, I wonder, like the hit ratio is like, it's okay. It's going all right. Picture me, right? Like nice smile, like, but like, right. Chicks, they want guys like you, right? Guys like this.
Not
It's the three of you, not an ogre, not a fucking Shrek. So as a social experiment, I changed it over. I went gay. I hit guys.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you
We're
this.
learning a lot
As
here.
a social
today.
experiment.
I'm not telling you. No, listen. Look, I got nothing to lose. I'm telling you, within minutes.
Yeah.
Within minutes,
Hits
60
up
dudes.
the ass.
60 dudes that were willing to fucking just the get down.
Yeah.
60 minutes. I just literally said to myself, I sat there and I said to myself, this is unfortunate that doesn't do it for me.
Wow.
Because, like, literally, my next 3 months will be booked up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Daily.
But it's because I'm a bear.
Yeah.
I know. I didn't talk to any of these guys. I didn't, interact.
I should do that experiment, too.
Dude, switch. Well, again.
I can't switch teams.
Right. No, don't switch teams. But if you were to, just as an experiment, switch it over, I think you would do really, really well with the gay community.
All right.
Yeah. I give this movie it a 4.
Earn some money?
I give it a 4.
All right.
Okay. You had said something before about how you think people generally consider this the best of them.
Yeah.
And I always thought that. Mm-hmm. And I even thought that for myself for a while until I realized that I think Evil Dead 2 is a much better movie. This is an action adventure comedy thing. We talk about short movies all the time. It's an hour and 20 minutes. It's an easy watch. It is a lot of fun, and it kind of almost created its own genre of these quirky little horror things that are kind of in and out. And Bruce Campbell created his own he made this character known, right? Like Ash from this movie.
You go to any horror fest, you're going to see 10 Ashes.
And it's from this movie. It's not from Evil Dead 2. This movie is the one that got it out there because it's a universal picture. I love the effects. I love the old school stuff. Some of them don't work as well, like the stop motion and the skeletons and the Harryhausen stuff works really well. The forward projection stuff, like when he's laying down and they're squeezing his nose, that looks like shit. Like absolute fucking total shit.
Yeah.
But again, I have to remind myself it's 33 years old or whatever at this point. But it's a lot of fun. I give it a 4. The rewatchability on this one isn't as great as it was for me at one time in my life. I feel like if I were to say, we were hang out and do some gay shit together, and you were like, let's watch an Evil Dead movie, I would be like, let's throw 2 in.
Let's throw 2. Yeah.
Remember when we saw 2?
It was fun at Larry's Connecticut Cult Classic.
We'll eventually do 2 at some point. But remember how awesome it was how you realized like how 2 just fucking goes.
Yeah.
Right? Like that movie
It starts right there.
Just goes. And I just felt like in this one I missed a lot of that horror element that we don't really get necessarily. So that's it. I'm going to give it a 4. Butler, fire away.
I love this. This was my entry into Evil Dead. I had learned about the original PlayStation game for Evil Dead. I read in like a PC game magazine or something like that, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds so cool!" It's based on a movie with Bruce Campbell, and I was a huge fan of Hercules: The Legendary Journeys growing up, and he was Autolycus, and I was like, "Oh, that's neat." And one of my friends was like, "Oh yeah, it's a messed up movie, man. Trees are banging ladies and blah blah blah." So I was like, "What?" I was like, oh, this seems weird because it was like middle school or whatever. So the first one that was on TV was Army of Darkness, and I watched it, and it was the weirdest fucking movie I've ever seen in my life. And it was so cheap, but yet somehow so watchable. After I'd watched 1 and 2, I liked them for different reasons. I think I prefer 2 over Army of Darkness because it's the perfect mix. Other than, like Fielder said, the TV show knows what it is.
Right.
That's where the sweet spot was. But as a film itself, I would say the fact that it knows it's a B movie, I would have to give it a 4 as well. It's not perfect. The Introvision stuff sucks. Even in the documentary I'd watched, Ted Raimi goes, the Introvision stuff sucks. I still like it because it's tough to do. And there's a respect over doing CGI nowadays, like having to do that forward projection stuff and I know the work that went into it. But yeah, it looked cheesy in the 90s. It looks cheesy now. Like the ashes pulling his nose together and stuff. It doesn't really work that well. But the skeletons work. The skeletons go. You could see all the love that went into the filmmaking in this movie. And like you said, Ash, this is where Ash became Ash. And the thing I love the most about all the Evil Dead movies, other than the amount of like effort that goes into making a low budget film like this, is the fact that in all horror movies you have Jason and Freddy and, you know, the Scream Mask guy, and you know the villains, you know the Xenomorph, although Ripley is maybe the exception. Like the hero doesn't get his due or her due. You get the final girl, but she's not really kicking ass all that often, except for maybe Ripley. And Ash is the hero that you root for. You don't root for the Necronomicon. The Necronomicon's not the thing that you go to the movie for.
Right.
It's Ash, and I think that sets it apart. And like that's what gives it, like, elevates it from maybe like a 3 to a 4, is just Bruce Campbell as Ash. Like, there's no replacing him.
I know Stu is screaming at the podcast playing machine at the moment because I feel like this is a 5 for him.
Yeah, sorry, Stu.
But you know what? We did it. You asked us to do it. We did it, and it was a fun episode to do. Forgotten Cinema, guys. You guys are currently on what, like season 20, 19?
We're recording 20 right now, yeah.
Right.
So
Season
19 is out.
19 is out. So what do we have to look forward to in 19? And give us a couple that you're recording. Give us a little sneak peek of stuff from 20.
This, we just recorded Ad Astra and Den of Thieves.
Okay.
Which will unfortunately come out after the Den of Thieves sequel come out. We timed that very poorly.
Which I hear is good.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Awesome. We are recording this week. We are watching, I don't even remember.
We're doing Bottle Shock this week.
Bottle Shock this week.
The Wes Anderson thing?
No. Bottle Shock, that's Bottle Rocket. Bottle Shock is about the wine country when California, when they won the wine contest over in France with Alan Rickman and Chris Pine. It's just from like early 2000s.
I feel like
it's a really good movie.
Okay.
I think it is. So we're doing The Insider this week, this year, Teaching Mrs. Tingle, Narc. In terms of what we're recording, what's coming out as we're doing this, I think tomorrow is The Weatherman. Mm-hmm. We've got Office Christmas Party coming out, The Paper, Secret Life of Walter Mitty, the Ben Stiller one,
yep.
And Copland. So, we kind of run the gamut.
I love Copland. I'm a fan of that one. Okay, all right. Don't ruin it. Don't fucking ruin it. I'm not giving it a 5, but I like that movie a lot.
Well, we've actually looked out. The last 4 that we've recorded, which was Mitty, Copland, Ad Asher, and Den of Thieves, Butler hadn't seen. You didn't see any of those, right?
No.
No, and like
no, I had seen Copland when I was younger.
Right.
Yeah.
But he had never seen Den of Thieves before. I really liked Den of Thieves, and Butler actually really liked it as well, which I was shocked. Usually he's like, meh. But you don't.
Oh, usually I'm like meh.
I'm not like meh. But we both really like The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Oh my god, I love that movie.
I've heard that's really good.
I hated the first 20 minutes, and then I just fell in love with the rest of that movie.
It's a really good film.
Interesting.
Ben Stiller directed that too. I'm a big. I talk about it in the episode.
There's no like the whole movie. You're supposed to feel good.
I like that.
I talk about it in the episode, but I talk about how like I really like stuff that Ben Stiller directs. I think he's just a really solid director. Cable guy. He's doing the Apple show Severance, which is really good.
Yeah, I've heard that's good.
Tropic Thunder, obviously.
Trivia for Copland. I don't know if you guys talk about it in the episode or will if you have gotten there yet.
We've recorded it.
Oh, recorded.
Yeah.
Okay. Stallone ate stacks of pancakes to get that fat. That's all he ate.
25 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
I say it in the episode, but I saw Copland at a sneak screening at Fairfield Cinemas.
Okay.
And it had stuff in the movie that wasn't in, they cut it out. And it had music that they didn't have permission for yet. So it was like different music and stuff. Like, supposedly De Niro and Keitel were there, but I never saw them. But so it was packed.
I gotta see it.
Don't spoil your episode, guys, because I want to listen to it. I recommend it, but again,
it's our season ender for season 19.
Okay, all right. So
we're not too far away from it.
All right,
we're not negative. We're not negative.
All right, perfect. All right, tell everybody where they can find you, and then we're gonna get the fuck out of here.
That's not my thing. That's Butler's thing.
You can find us at ForgottenCinemaPodcast.com, or you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. If you're on YouTube watching us, go like, subscribe, rate, comment, all that good stuff there. We also have a Patreon, which John is a member of. Where we have exclusive. We'll do it. We do exclusive episodes. We do early access to some episodes. We do timed exclusives. We have merch discounts, all that good stuff. And you get access to our Discord where you can talk to people. And
we'll tell them what we've got coming up for the Patreon.
For the Patreon, this month we're doing not what we do in the Shadow. Shadow of the Vampire with Willem Dafoe as our lead up. We're going into Nosferatu. Nosferatu is going to be our now showing episode where we do like movies that are new.
I'm a little scared of that watch.
So we have that coming out for December. Hopefully we can get it out quick enough.
Yeah.
It's going to be toward the end of December, obviously.
Yeah, because Nosferatu comes out around Christmas, so we just got to kind of figure out the schedule.
Yeah, so we got to get in there and watch it.
We don't exactly work at the theater anymore, so we don't have that early access that way anymore.
In January, we're doing the Jamie Foxx, Cameron Diaz movies they're now showing. That's going to be on Netflix.
Whatever that's called.
And then, we've got a bunch more lead ups we're probably going to do, a bunch more now showings. We did for October, we did the Freddy Krueger movie, we did Nightmare on Elm Street, which we called Look Back. So we'll probably do some more look backs as well, which are Patreon exclusives, where we actually take a look at very popular films and talk about not why they're forgotten, but what makes them stand the test of time.
And also their impact.
And their impact on the
industry. Yeah.
All right. Well, I am a fan. I'm a patron. So I look forward to all that stuff. Manster, let's get out of here. Next episode, last episode of the year. We're recording it with these guys right now. Let's make a promise to each other for the week of Christmas. A lot less rape talk, okay?
I only said it once.
All right. And
I think you said it 5 times.
Jack Frost is his favorite Christmas movie, so there's a problem.
I'll stay away from the N-word. You stay away from rape.
All right.
See ya.
Groovy.
It's over, Johnny. It's over! Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!